Live.
Means we're live. Welcome back. This is the what we call the epilogue, the post game session, the post game report,
Wrap up.
the wrap up. One of those things. It's that for the Bygone Keep. Um, I don't actually have to do any recaps or nothing. This is great. I'm just going to introduce Anita, the one and only. I'm not going to ad lib too long because I don't know how long you're going to be with us. So take it away.
Dark.
Dang.
That's dark.
Not like that.
So true,
I mean,
besties.
digitally.
Hey, everybody. I'm Anita. I'm marked for death. It's so good to be here. Invited back to the Foozca channel. Gosh, yeah. Find me at Anita the Lesbian. Also, if you like teen superheroes, if you like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and all that crowd, and you want to play games with me on starplaying.games. We have a thing set up, the Spider's Web. It's a whole thing for you spider lovers out there. I know there are some in the audience. But yeah, you can play superheroes, you can save the city. It's great. Every other Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. That's me. Back to you. Okay, who's next? But none is passed to me. I'll pass it to Foos. Foos.
Get him, fool.
What's up? I'm currently copy pasting the start playing link. There it is. Okay. Took me a sec. I thought I had it ready. I did not. So I had to do a little bit of back searching to go find it. But yeah, if you want to go support Anita and play some games, go check that link out. But hello, I'm Foos. For the Bygone Keep, I got the pleasure of playing Woody, who was a Vengeance Paladin and such. And I'm here pretty much every time the channel is live. And we're very excited, actually, speaking of being live and all that. This Wednesday, we're going to have Flandy DM for the first time in a long, long time. So it's going to be a one-shot. And I don't think he actually has DM'd a one-shot ever. So here we go. It'll be exciting.
He tried to one time.
It was supposed to be one, correct.
Yeah.
But this one's full up on chaos, and we're very, very excited for it. But yes, we have that coming on Saturday, and this was fun, and we get to talk shit about stuff now, and I'm very excited for it. So, continuing the way that we are going, I'm gonna go pass it off to Maya Papaya on the opposite corner.
I'm in the opposite corner.
You're on the opposite corner of me on stream, girl.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. Hello, I'm on the opposite corner, y'all. I play Mauricio. She's a whole monk. And during that campaign, I realized that I'd never play monk again. I had fun. It was just a very weird experience of just like being a not overpowered class, I guess. Because I think up until this point, it was sorcerers and warlocks and rogues, also blended with sorcerers and warlocks, and then a cleric and a druid, and all of them are very powerful. So, being oh no, Nenners, you couldn't wait.
Sometimes people when the time comes, the time comes.
No.
Wow. But yeah, welcome back. You can catch me on this channel most days that the channel is on. For Difficult Terrain on Saturdays, for Legacy on Fridays, for Power Rangers on Sundays. Although it's a bit off and on right now because it's a busy month and there's holidays and stuff, and also hurricanes and things are happening. It's real weird.
Yes, everyone be safe, please.
Yeah. No, Joe. Don't be disintegrating.
Too late.
But yeah, with that said, since Joe has disintegrated everyone, I will pass it to Joe. Now we can speak to our ashes.
Hey, Joe.
We were talking about Mass Effect earlier. Now all I can hear is to ask the ashes of a trillion souls if honor matters. The silence is your answer. It's a it's a downer at the end of the story. Anywho, what are we doing? My name's Joe, and I played Brannigan, and he was a dwarf and a cleric, and he wasn't a paladin. And we're just doing the wrap up, having a good time. I'll be here Saturday for the What the Fun Shot. It'll be fun because it's in the name, so legally it has to be. And when I'm not, are we doing Friday? Is Friday still happening this week?
Yes.
Okay, then I will be here Friday.
Yes.
And I'm not blaming Javik for nothing. Javik was dope. So I'll be here Friday, and I'll be here Saturday, and then Sunday I'll be over at Dispel Logic. Where we're playing the Dungeons and Dragons. We just had the event that relates to the title of the campaign, so we're officially doing some main story stuff and having a good time.
That watching Discord Logic or Dispel Logic is a treat.
Discord Logic.
Dispel Logic is a treat. I was in for the last session, and I got to hear an NPC with the most slappable accent I've ever heard in my entire life. The moment he spoke, I was yelling at them to just slap him immediately. I wasn't even looking at the screen. I just heard his voice. I was like, slap him immediately.
We thoroughly enjoyed the reaction, and we're talking about it afterwards. Because we had congratulated him on making a guy we want to hate in the best way. But yeah, I think I've rambled. We broke the cycle to skip to me because I disintegrated everybody. But just for a minute, I'm gonna do a true resurrection on Kit, so Kit can say things, and then I will disintegrate you once more to appease insomnia. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sure. Hi, call me Kit. I am known as Kit Kitonic, Kittens by Maya at one point, Kitendo, and of course Kibbles and Bits. How you doing? I played Coraline. That is not that's not her. That's the cheese. Don't worry about it. She was a Way of the Shadow Monk who liked to throw knives around. I had a lot of fun with this character. It mostly started with a joke, me going, I want to play a ninja. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. Jefe, por favor.
Sounds good. I kind of like that better than just boss. What's up? I'm Nennerino, Dominario, depending on who you're talking to. I'm here now only Fridays, DMing, and then Saturdays with Foos being a victim. She killed her son off screen in the future. Horrible person. So I just want to put that out there. And everyone's like, oh, Nenners is so dark. Not even close. I ain't here killing people's kids. Anyway,
there's no children dying. Just for clarification.
I haven't been able to catch the story in a minute, and even I know this is just you taking the darkest possible spin on a perfectly lovely party. But I assume you're still at, because it's only been 2-3 sessions.
Yeah, it's
Hi,
it's
Joe.
a party.
It's
normal. Totally normal.
I would attempt to defend myself, but that would derail this entire point of our meeting. So I'm going to let that slide for now. This is the after party of the Bygone Keep. It's a weird after party because it's like 2 weeks later. It's like, all right, but we're here. So that's what we're talking about. I guess, I mean, I have some things in terms of like how it went and what I kind of want to explain, but I kind of actually want to get your guys' interpretations and questions first, and then I guess I could just fill in the gaps, because I don't want to take away a question or a theory that you guys already had that didn't get fleshed out until I speak about it, I guess. That makes any sense?
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
Did all of the heroic things we did in Bygone Keep offset all the terrible things we did in Guilty?
No.
Oh shit!
Guilty, you managed to anger an entire Click's Hive, so that was impressive. But no,
We then befriended them. Anyway,
Yeah,
we initially made them very.
and we saved the guys who were slapping each other with tortillas, and that's very important in universe sending.
it was.
Restored the cosmic balance with that.
I think, yeah, a little bit. I'd agree with that. Okay, tortilla slaps with Sandy. Does anybody have any questions that you want to kick off with?
I think I had a question mostly about like Mephistopheles. Like,
Sure.
was he essentially like the big bad lurking in there the whole time? Because I feel like it took us a good amount of episodes before we were like, oh, we know that there's a fucking big old boy in this bitch. And like in the beginning, and maybe that was part of the like surprise of just being like, you're just here for this mission. Oh, by the way, Mephistopheles is just taking a nap in this bitch. So like, I just wanted to know like, and were there hints that we missed early on that maybe he was there the whole time, but we were like, artifacts. Let's go.
He has a pretty focused, I would say. He was the big bad the entire time, more or less. There was a devil went down to Georgia kind of situation, which is how he got in there, because he went, the Myth Trader geographically is south of where you guys are. And he had that one-on-one battle with one of Malil's champions, lost, and got his part of his soul imprisoned in that harp. But like any good devil, he couldn't basically stop being a manipulative little bastard. And definitely, if you dug a little bit more into Thaven's background, he would have maybe alluded a bit to like some of the weird behavior that some of his colleagues, not just the knife ears, were getting into, and he was a part of that. He realized he couldn't fully get out, so he used his influence to kind of subtly corrupt some of the people around there. So he was kind of in charge of destabilizing that keep, and then Asmodeus has some kind of interaction with Dragoth that hasn't really been fleshed out yet in terms of, well, it's not like you guys are going to run into it. What are the chances?
Save it for the legacy wrap-up.
I think, well, no, they already kind of know there's a relationship there. At least, like, from a second degree out. But yeah, I'm not going to spill all the beats, but there is clearly some kind of link, and Mephistopheles being there, he had that the opportunity to kind of embarrass and somewhat usurp Asmodeus within the eyes of Dragoth, I guess, is what he was essentially trying to do, and potentially shake up things in the Hells. But yeah, he was the big. I think if oh my goodness, if Corlin dug a little bit deeper into the harp, because you played it and you tried to commune with it, and that was great. But if you like sat down and like really like dug into it, you would have found him in there, and that would have been an interesting.
Just hanging out. Can you imagine? You just play good music and it's like there's a demon lord in this bitch.
Yeah.
Like a devil guy.
Yeah.
Archdevil, yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Yes.
But it's only part of him, so yeah, it'll take him a long time to fully reconstitute. To answer your question. Yeah.
I have a more serious question. Still kind of fun though. If we had done things just a slight bit differently and wound up on a different floor when we were in that elevator, would we have had to fight the sexy dancy devil as well as Static?
If you would have kept going to the bottom, you would have just gotten. I mean, you pretty much more or less did skip it. Like you're like, hey, what's going on? Close the door, and then went down to the music room. So you kind of did that anyway. In terms of fighting them, that was always on the table if you wanted to do it. When I wrote that thing, I was like, this is going to be kind of a zealotry test, right? I wanted to see if Team Holy could resist just smashing everything. Because I think it's always a fun moral quandary, right? It's like, yeah, I don't want to work with this person who's clearly antithetical to my goals, but I might not have the resources to kill everybody in the room, right? So,
well, the reason I asked that question is because Static turned out to be very helpful in the fight against Dracoff later on. So I'm just like, if we fought him and somehow won, despite how powerful that character is, would that have kind of
would that have stopped him from coming into like yeah, it depends. If you would have like, so
and
they
also,
were.
How would you have explained that to Flynn? Hey, so
your character could die. Well, that is if you want to explain.
Sure. So the way that they were brought in is they were champions of their respective demon lords. So I would have treated them as demons in that case, and I think I've already kind of hinted at that. It's very much becoming demonic in his appearance. So if he would have died, it would have been just like he would have been sent back to the abyssal plane, Baphomet's abyssal plane, and would not be available for a while. And there may be the other option I was going to have was if Ravai ever asked about him, then Baphomet would have given her instructions or like a side quest essentially to reactivate him, to reincarnate him so that they could use him again. That being said, he wouldn't have been usable in the Dragoth fight. You would have gotten like her normal honor guard that helped her last time. So, which probably wouldn't have been able to hit Dragoth outside of natural 20s. And I think it was just more fun for Flighty loves barbarians, so anytime I get an excuse to throw one that he could play at him, I'll do it. Yeah, good question.
I had a question about the I think not a question, but I was just commenting on the like when we saw the devil versus demon fight that was downstairs.
Yep.
Like both me and Moody were like, they'll still be there, but let's go do these things, come back and kill them later. but both like my character and I were like, we'll be back. They'll still be hanging out, right? And then we'll kill them. So it was funny that like walking away at that moment was actually us kind of sidestepping that whole thing, which was totally fine, obviously. But the intention was like, they ain't going nowhere. We'll pick up the pieces later.
Yeah, the poor Pit Fiend was outgunned though. He just did not have the level to hold. He might have seriously hurt one of them because the other half of it is this. They're demons. It's not like they like each other, right? They're not going to fight as a cohesive team, right? If you got mollywopped, then you just got hit like that kind of situation. But you guys did take a long rest, so even outside of D&D terms, if you have like a decent fight, it's not going to go for more than a few hours, and I think that's really in a melee fight. You're exhausted 5 minutes in. An hour is legendary at that point. So. But yeah, it would have been cool to see if you came back and what in time to see what would have essentially happened. And by that I mean your own decisions. But the demons were sent to do what they do best, and that's just kill people, destabilize whatever is up there, and then bounce.
Yup.
But I will say you guys were hilarious because for the audience who doesn't know, when we had this pitch, it was. Give me some holy based warriors, right? It doesn't, give me like paladins, clerics, people who would work for the Order of the Gauntlet, like strong kind of religious ties. What kind of characters could we get? And Foozca, I'm surprised with Vengeance Paladin. That was definitely a surprise for me with that because I was like, Foozca's probably gonna do some kind of Holy Ranger thing, maybe like a Druid who really likes Jesus. I don't know, but like. Couldn't figure out where you're going with that. Yeah. And then Kit immediately comes to me, hey, look, man, I got like a 4-page backstory. It's a ninja, but she's not really with Malil, but she is, but she isn't. I was like, okay. This got a little spicier. I will say I appreciate that because if you would have just done like, another paladin or something, or maybe like a light cleric or something, any and all of those kind of temptations would never have landed, right? You would have just been like, fuck you, I'd rather burn my soul than link it to you kind of situation. So it did open the door for some interesting elements of temptation.
Yeah, actually, that kind of makes me want to like deep dive into some of the characters and like maybe talk about maybe some of the motivations in making them or inspiration, excuse me, and then like if there's anything that like wasn't able to be said during maybe the role playing or anything, but you were like, oh, this little nugget was just beneath the surface. And not to put Kid on blast, but I think he had one of the shadiest characters in this bitch. So if you don't mind, you want to talk to us a little bit about your nunja?
Okay. So I don't know how much I can say without revealing too much, but she was kind of a way for me to open the door to something that I wanted to build lore-wise for most of my characters. Yeah, so, yeah. She's part of a kind of a shady organization that's very much obsessed with information. And, yeah, that's what she is. That's why she was following you guys. She didn't know what she was looking for in the keep, but that's what she was sent there for. Find information, find shit that's good for us, that kind of stuff.
How do you think her? Oh, go ahead, no.
You guys good.
No. After you.
You had go. Go ahead.
Well, one of you say something.
I was gonna let Nenners do it, and then he decided not to. But like, I guess I was also curious in terms of like her relationship with all of the characters. I guess towards the end, and like what her opinions of each person was.
She basically likes everyone there. She thinks you guys are lovely people. She thinks Anita is shady as hell, but
just Anita, not Effie, but Anita.
Not Anita, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sweet Anita.
Listen, I get along with your character famously, but you're off there as a fucking weird.
Okay, she thinks Effie is okay, to take my foot out of my mouth here. She thinks Effie is a little bit shady, obviously. But she seems to know quite a bit, and well, she's gonna try and screw her over. Well, turnabout is for play.
It is fair. That is true.
But yeah, she basically likes everyone there. She doesn't feel anything bad for anyone there. She didn't like the whole thing you did to the spider, but
Oh, to be fair, Anita didn't do that to the spider. Dragoff did.
I
yeah,
did
that-
purposefully endanger my familiar, though. I will take ownership of that.
Okay.
That was some animal negligence, like
I don't know.
animal cruelty, like on the cusp of. So that's fair.
You didn't befriend a sentient being. You invented a being of magic to do your bidding, and you went, you know what? I can get a new one in an hour. And that's not unreasonable.
Dark Joe.
Yeah.
The wording specifically is super animal safe. You make
Dark
you a
Joe.
magic version of a creature, and it's fine.
I will say one thing, Mauricio.
Yeah.
I made that whole stupid opera house section for you. And you skipped it. I was like, God damn it! Yeah,
What
because
opera
the Baelnorn
Baelnorn.
Lich was doing the last performance, right? Like the last performance of the keep and all that, and that was going to be chock full of like all the spirits that were still lingering in the castle, and even some who weren't anymore. That was supposed to be a situation where you could have like interacted with them and learned a lot from them. Now, trust me, I understand. You're like, we need to get these things and get the fuck out. Totally get that vibe. But it broke my heart a little bit when that got skipped. Because I was like, well, she ain't gonna see no spirits until the very end, because that's where they all essentially were.
I honestly fully expected Corlin or Mauricio to pull them into the show thing. So I was like, I'm sure one of them will do it. No? All right, here we go.
I mean,
both very
everyone was
musical
very
and all.
motivated to see the show. Number one, because music, dude, it's a concert. You can't disturb that. Well, she has a weird relationship with undead, so yeah, she very much respected that guy.
Well, Mauricio was on her whole like, these problems are going to continue until we stop them. We can. She wasn't thinking that we would leave as soon as like everything was done. She was like, all right, we get to the battery before. I think the fact that those demons showed up kind of put us all in like speed run mode. We were just like, oh shit, other people are after the shit. We can't waste time indulging in everything we want. We have to go straight to the source and deal with it before anybody else gets to it. It felt more like a race than like, we had actual time. Also, we spent about 4 sessions on doors, and so we were already kind of behind.
Joe's dying because of all of the fast things you're saying.
You're in speedrun mode.
We were making up for lost time in the beginning.
21 episodes later.
I give you all a hard time about it, but D&D isn't a sprint. It's very much a marathon. So there are times when things progress very slowly, but it's just funny to intimate that we ran through the rest of it. We did spend less time on doors. I will give you that for sure.
For sure. While Maya's talking, talk to us a little bit about the inspiration for Mauricio and perhaps her opinions of the team at the end.
But Maya wasn't talking, Joe was.
Joe talked after you talked.
The inspiration for Mauricio. the directions given to me by Ninners. Plain and simple. He was like, for once, make a holy character and don't overcomplicate them.
I came down hard on my. So I was like, she gonna make some fucking literal walking fucking flame come in here and just start blasting everybody. And I'm like, all right, like you could do that if you could make it like a celestial thing if that's what you wanted to do. But yeah, my we're on the same page with character types. But I for the other. It was a one shot. No, it wasn't one shot. I wasn't trying to one shot. It was. But the other one shot, I was like, give me a character. She's like this super dark thing. I was like, you're on the City Watch. And I have like,
the first, I think the first like concept I came up with was like something that was fitting but didn't quite work with you, like what you were planning. So I had to change it. Like I wanted to do some nightly thing with the. In Waterdeep, with you talking about my warlock, right?
Yes.
The half drow.
It's all good. I just wanted to preface the team. Like of all the people I came down hardest on my, I'm like I need his focus. I need a holy type character.
So yeah, when I got those directives, I was just like, well, I kind of want to just try something different if I'm going to be this far out of my wheelhouse of blowing shit up with spells. So I was like, I'll try a monk and see how that goes. I saw Sister Ballista, and she looked really, really fun. And so I'll give it a shot. But, yeah, and when I did that, I was just like, all right, if they have to be faithful, I'm going to try to give them a god I can actually not be annoyed by. So I would say the name. And, yeah, a lot of it was just, like, kind of just getting through it and trying to make, for once, a relatively normal character. Granted, they see dead people, but somehow still in this group that was kind of the most normal. So I guess it worked out at the end. As for what Mauricio thinks about everyone, I feel like for this campaign she was just kind of a passenger, like in this ride, because everybody else had all this like intense, crazy shit going on, and she's just kind of there to smack things. So you had Brannigan, who is like a hammer therapist, hammerfist, hammer. I don't know, but like he, when he first came into the group, he seemed like a guy you could just relate to about anything, talk to about anything, and then it immediately turned into carnage from people throwing knives and shit at the dinner table. That was real weird. As the campaign went on, she's just like, it doesn't matter what I say or plan, he's gonna throw a hammer at it, so I'm just gonna wait for it to happen. He's kind of resigned to that by the end. It's just like, doesn't matter what I try to.
I multiple times withheld the hammer because people asked me to, so all you had to do was vocalize it. I let that mimic live.
You did. That was very nice of you. Well, Brannigan. What she thinks of Moody? She sees Moody as kind of like a brother in arms. Oh. Even though he's very vengeance driven, at the same time, they're both warriors of faith, and they're both usually in the front lines, getting the shit beat out of them.
I passed like 2 saves the whole entire time. I understand.
One is very good at taking those hits, and the other is very not. But the whole incident with the vampire gave her a lot of respect for Brannigan as well, and including the whole party, because everybody like helped her not become undead. That was great. Even though me, the author, was like, but it would be real cool if I became a vampire. I've never done that before. It would be awesome. But everybody else was like determined to save her, so I was like, all right, I guess I won't be a vampire then. Fuck. Coraline's a weird one because she is also a monk, but also no. So it's just they're like night and day. They're so different from each other. She's like slinking around in the shadows. She's throwing knives at things. She's never really getting in there close, and like she's always got some shadiness going on. And the other one's just very open and kind of naive a little bit. And Effie in her eyes was like the protagonist. Really? She shows up and like she's starting shit with people, and then the moment we get past that, she's like mistress favored for like the whole run. And she's just like, every time I turn around, this bitch got like 8 stars around her. She's glowing, she's levitating, she's like solving weird arcane puzzles that I can't even begin to comprehend. I got to step it up. Yeah, there's a lot of respect there in what she's capable of and what she can do. Although I don't think Mauricio has been around her privately enough to see all the darkness that Coraline got to see. She was mostly around her when she was pretty much receiving blessings from goddesses and shit. And she didn't like overhear the deal or see the deal she was making with, Mephistopheles because of that magical darkness field.
Hey,
So
no deal was made. No deal was made, Maya. Don't go there. Come on.
But yeah, like
Bless you.
A little deal was made. A little one.
Like
There was a big deal, but a little deal got made.
None was made. None was made by Coraline.
but as far as she knows, she never witnessed her doing anything outwardly dark. She witnessed hesitation and was just like, but every time you seem to hesitate, you still pick the better choice and you do the right thing in the end. So in that end, it's just like, I respect that. I've talked a lot. I will pass it to another talk person who can say the word things with their mouth hole. Joe,
What?
you say the things. Throw a hammer at the camera. I don't know.
I have a hammer.
Well, you're not committed enough to Brannigan then. Go get a hammer.
I gotta say, Brannigan turned out way different than I thought he was. 'Cause I was honestly, I was like, I think he's just doing a fighter cleric so he could play a paladin but not be a paladin officially. And as soon as I saw the Echo Knight, I'm like, oh no, this is way different. That was cool. It was definitely neat to see.
I said it every week. He's not a paladin.
I mean, you could say it. It might not be true.
I couldn't smite for shit.
That's yeah. You got a couple good shots in though. I thought for like a build for what he was, I thought he was really cool.
Thank you.
The save on Coraline falling off the rocks with your with your double, I thought that was masterfully played.
We fell a lot. We fell a lot for a party of level 14 heroes. Like, I did not expect falling to be as much of an issue as it turned out to be.
Yeah, you guys took a lot of risks, which is cool. I mean but sometimes the dice just don't go well for me most of the time. Don't go your way. So yeah, you guys started off early too. Someone who fell off the carriage like almost immediately.
Mauricio. I was gonna say, I actually believe it was like literally all the women were following most of the time. And like, I think the closest thing I could say for Moody was getting trampled by fucking Barry White Centaur. But like, otherwise, I don't think, like, every time someone was like going to fall and it was going to be a problem, I think it was a lady.
Yeah. To be fair, most of those falls were Mauricio trying to save someone and being real bad at saving people.
Most of it was also like someone rolled garbage, like we have good bonuses. I just rolled a 2, like that's just what it's gonna be.
There were some fun things, and I don't know if you initially knew, Anita, that the cold damage stops the Hellhound detonations, but they were, if you didn't kill them with cold damage, they would just detonate. And if you guys didn't have your proactive, like, make your stand, the idea was they're going to try to hop in the cabin and blow up. Which would have been really nice.
Yeah, I just had Cone of Cold. That was completely coincidence that it was cold damage.
Yeah, diffusing those would-be bombs. It's cool.
The first fight was so cool in that regard too, because we all got to like get an idea of how we fight. And it was kind of crazy that we went in with like a cleric, a paladin, 2 monks, and obviously the wizard. But like that seems like a pretty melee heavy group, right? But most of us did damage from a distance. Like most of us, like we could do damage up close, but for that first fight, we were all like feet away and killing things. So I was like, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
I felt bad at times that I wasn't up there to be a target because I specifically built the guy who threw a hammer. I was like, I got this big old bucket of HP and I'd like to help out. Mostly my bucket of HP was reserved for taking a big old hit to heal someone with it. Self-inflicted pain.
Yeah, no, you guys did well protecting your lightning rods for the most part. Yeah, I mean, you did a great job stopping Marissa from turning into a vampire. So that would have been fun.
So you
That
bring
would have
some
been fine. She's a monk.
That was the literal
Yeah,
best.
holy
because
water.
like if you don't like, if you become a vampire when another vampire bites you, you don't like get free will as a vampire, right? You like become a thrall of somebody else as a vampire. Or is that something that I'm making up out of my fantasy
No,
brain?
the vampire thralls are absolutely a thing, 100%. And it would not have been
Okay.
good for Marissa at that point.
Yeah, because like
Go on.
if it was just like a cool like, oh, I'm a vampire now, I get some cool powers, I don't go out during the daytime, but like I got all these new abilities. Look at me, I can fly. I would be like, oh shit, that's actually cool. We could use that.
Glossing right
Immunity
over
to
the
normal
facts.
damage. We love that.
Glossing over the fact that you got to murder people to sustain your existence.
The hunger was going to be very interesting because the vast majority of your foes were not those you can exsanguinate. So that may have been some creepy shit that you guys would have had to deal with.
I appreciate that you said that it wouldn't have been good for her. When the fucking beatdown that almost turned her into a vampire was phenomenal.
Also not good.
So like I'm gonna crit 2 times in 1 turn and also smack you some more and then bite you and see how you hold that. Oh, you didn't. Oh, all right.
Yup.
I will say
my
that-
gun keep that I screenshotted those like 2 natural 20s in a row from that is just beating your ass. Or like that is being beat again.
Yeah.
I argue at the time because retroactively it feels like I should have. Monks is immune to disease. Vampirism can get bent.
Is it a disease technically?
Does that count as a disease?
I would say it's infected by bite. It is a disease. So is lycanthropy. They both can be cured.
Hey, it was good for the plot.
Oh no, I'm fine with it. It was
fine.
great. It was a
That's
great
a good point.
overnight moment. I'm just now realizing. It's
From a
probably
vampire,
just
though,
been
yeah.
hand wave.
Evil Vampire's defense, they did crit, so maybe they just bit real good.
They did
Yeah.
fight real good. It took a huge chunk out of you. That
And they
was,
were the true vampire, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Foos, you recognize the group you were fighting for the most part.
The group. Sorry, I was looking at other things. The group.
The Bitey peoples and some of their friends.
Bitey folk? Oh no, Oh yeah. Neferata and folk. Yeah.
Yep, they fought them before in the Legacy campaign. They were that is the Umbral Court's kind of like hit squad, more or less.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, why are they back alive? My character doesn't know they were alive in the first place. My character doesn't know shit. And neither does Foos, so I ain't gonna bring up shit that nobody can really reference. Okay. Alright, we're just fighting these strange women I've never seen before in my life. No, I definitely remember them.
The one you killed with the bellow did the shit out of Roland playing his
Hit the
character.
fuck out of Rollum. And that was Rollum's like
great.
second episode.
He held his concentration like a champ, though.
He did. He fucking seriously did.
But yeah, no, they were the. I think I gave at least a couple hints that they had been reformed, like rebuilt, and there was a opportunity, not a very big one, admittedly, but if someone was more of a talker to kind of figure out how that happened or why it happened, not in terms of like, oh, why are you back, but it's like, you know, who do you serve? What are you doing? That kind of line of questioning would have kind of revealed.
Being there to talk.
Oh, I get it. Like I said,
like a clear vampire, you gotta get got.
in my notes, it was like a little paragraph. It's like, just in case they actually ask. Like, this is This is what they're
Well,
up
that
to.
didn't happen until later when Moody was like, "So, what are you up to?"
Oh God! And I rolled like a 2 on persuasion, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This is the first time I have a good persuasive like character, but like I just rolled like shit, so that you didn't hear any of that, or like it didn't work at all." But yeah, because he's like such a casual asshole. But I wanted to ask Joe about his like how he came up with the character and Brannigan's, I guess, like final thoughts on the team.
Trying to remember if I was looking at Mountain Dwarf and going, I don't normally play, because Dwarf is still medium. I don't usually like playing a small character. And Dwarf is in that direction. But Mountain Dwarfs get 2+2s, and that's not nothing. So I don't remember if I was looking at that and going, man, I've underused this pretty cool bonus you get as a racial feature or a lineage feature now. Or if I looked at the Dwarven Thrower being of the caliber of magic item I was allowed to pick and going, oh, I'm going to do that because it's a dope-ass weapon. So it's a question of Dwarf or the Hammer, which came first. But one informed the other in a big way. And I knew I needed to make a holy person, and it's unlike people who will show remain nameless, I'm good at following directions. Everyone's character was great, and I'm glad they all got made the way they did, I promise. So I needed to do a thing, and I didn't want to do a paladin, because I do paladin a lot, so I wanted to be something different. So I looked at cleric, and with hammer and dwarf, forge cleric made some sense. But I've played every class mono before, and so I don't like to now. I like to multi-class, because then I can make my own. I'm the only guy with that mix of those two classes, so I'm kind of my own thing a little bit. And also, because even though I was playing a cleric, healing in combat is numerically bad. It is always better to attack. So, I needed a guy what could do some damage, and the higher level you get with cleric, there's some more damaging stuff, but there's also better and better heals, which would then be tempting. And I was like, nope, I want to be able to do damage things, because that is mechanically the best thing I could do to support. I'll make sure I have prayer of healing and some good. I made sure I had prayer of healing for outside of combat heals. I had healing word for a good emergency. You went down bonus action heal, and then I had that level 3 life transference for that's significant enough damage to healing that it's worth the spell slot, especially because I took the meta magic adept to be able to re-roll the necrotic damage if I rolled like shit, which I only needed once and I rolled worse. But the thought was there to make sure I had a real big heal, an efficient after fight heal, and an emergency pickup heal, and the rest was all going to be hammers and damage, because that's the effective way to cleric, is to prevent damage by killing the thing and not undo damage, because healing a couple d8s is going to be about equal to them taking a hit or less, so you really aren't delaying much. The exception is when you have a barbarian, just because their double health effect means every hit point counts for 2 when you heal a barbarian, and heal your barbarians. But yeah, so it basically came down to that, and also just action surge. Anytime I make any level of caster, being able to cast 2 spells in the same turn feels so good, and you should do it. But yeah, and the other thought I had going into making a character is like, okay, if I'm going to make a cleric, I'm going to lean into being religious, because that's going to inform being a cleric, so I'm going to make sure I hit those beats when they're relevant. But also, I am going to exemplify short rest energy. It's a bit I do, and I believe in it, that D&D is soft. It's for soft people who are soft. And I'm one of them. I'm a soft boy. But I like D&D to be a little more threatening. And I like the urgency. I don't like the idea, oh, I used half a spell slot, I better take a long rest, because what if? Sometimes you're on your back foot, and if you're never on your back foot, it's not. There's got to be struggle and conflict to make a narrative. But as much as all of those things are true, I give people a hard time about short rest energy. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to be a guy who embraces it. I'm going to be a guy who wants everybody to be the top of their game all the time. Even though I'm not going to heal in combat because it's inefficient, I'm going to be worried about people's bumps and bruises. I'm going to make sure they get a tight 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to make sure they pack a granola bar and a water bottle. I'm going to be taking care of people. So that turned into an emotional burden as we went on. I was worried about folks. Yeah. So that was also
became dad real quick.
But as far as what he thinks of the other people, he should be worried about Muri, but he doesn't know the things that means he should be worried. The things that have me knowing I would be worried if I knew them, I don't know. So it's just a man with conviction who showed up to kill devils and killed devils. A-okay in my book. Plate armor
Perfect.
bros.
Yep.
Ride or die.
Let's go.
Very much appreciated that, and Mauricio, like one person, two people of faith and some obvious moral compass. So Mauricio's willingness, because you would, I mean, especially after like the vampire thing, it was just a thing we went through together. And so seeing you withstand that and come out, you had help, sure, but you didn't just fold. So there's a lot of internal strength to Mauricio that I appreciate, especially because the monk angle, to me, as a craftsman, is in Brannigan, I make weapons, and you said, nah, I'm a weapon. So dope. Corlin is shady. And no reason to have no obvious beef with Corlin. No reason to think that was for sure against anybody. But he wouldn't be surprised if we ever ended up opposed. But he's willing to give the benefit of the doubt and assumes you were working with the best intent because you were called by a group that asked for that, and you never gave anything less than we're going to get this done and kill the things need killing. So we didn't have a whole lot of one-on-one getting to know each other. Probably not friends. We don't have to be. We're both people who answered the call. And
Oh, she likes you because they gave money to the children. Don't worry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in any case, whether or not they ended up being, pals, it was somebody who came and did the thing that needs doing, and a lot of people don't do that. So there's some questionable behavior, but none that was exhibited that would make them opposed as of yet. He'd be willing to believe if someone said something that was like, okay, I can see maybe Corlin would do that. But overall, fairly positive. And he's worried about Effie. Effie was going through some struggles at the end internally a little bit. And we didn't see all of it, but we saw enough, and you seemed dissatisfied with the support from Mistra, and it's the inspirational poster of the single set of footprints thing that in his religious frame of mind is a thing for reals. So he's like, nah, you showed up to find an archdevil, and she used her power to reach out at the last minute and be like, you got this, go girl. And so she's trying. She's just this. So he is worried, but he sees good in Effie that he doesn't think Effie sees, and that makes him sad. So he's hoping that Effie goes forward and finds what she wants for Effie, and then secondly, he hopes what she finds is that goodness. But it would be selfish of him to reverse those. So ultimately, you showed up and killed an archdevil. He's proud of you. proud of everybody.
I feel like the cliff notes for Effie is like Effie makes him sad and worried.
Thanks, Dad.
Pretty much.
I just want you to go out and try your best and find happiness. That's all.
This is more dad energy. Like anytime you delve into it, it's like that's more dad. That's more dad than what you said
that's
before.
the story. It's just what it is in many ways. Yes.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I love it.
Doesn't understand your journey. He just wants it to end up well.
Good.
That explains their mildly antagonistic interactions from Effie. You're not my dad, except you are.
Not my dad. No, that was great. I still am so. What tickled me pink was your instant bonding with David. That was adorable.
The boys immediately.
I was like, he's gonna be a grouchy old, absolutely racist character. Not that like anyone should have a good reason for it, but he's got some reasons for it, right? He watched an entire civilization collapse. He was trapped in this magic artifact for who knows how long. He's just been stewing in his own hate for centuries. And then when you guys unleashed him, it was because I wasn't sure because he was obviously going to be gruff. He's going to be calling people names. You know, he's going to be a little out of shape because he hasn't moved and who knows, how long. So he could have been seen as a liability, things like that. Didn't have any weapons or armor to his name. I mean, that was all your character giving him that kind of stuff. So, but no, it was hilarious. Those two feeding off each other.
I mean, what was I going to do but be stoked to find him? Not only was his family like known about to some degree, they have disappeared, but it doesn't matter as long as dwarves hammer metal inside mountains. Dwarves got a home, and so we're gonna get him there.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be a fun little mini one shot at some point. Those two guys.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Thaven and Brannigan buddy cop story.
Yeah.
There you go.
Brannigan and Thaven far from home. Two dwarves looking into
Two
the sunset.
burly dwarf boys.
Thaven would be such a good bad cop to your good cop, Joe.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. That would have been super fun.
Dude, where's my hammer?
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Moody, I want to ask you a question. I thought for sure the vengeance, like being able to kill as many demons as you want. You know what I mean? When Mephistopheles is like, look, you leave all this behind. I will give you an endless amount of demons to fight. Like that is not a problem. You know, if you want the weapons to do so, I can do that for you too. You know, whatever you need, I can just set you on your way. I was like, God damn. And he did. I don't think he hesitated. There's a consideration for a moment, but I wouldn't count that as a hesitation. But I was like, damn, I thought that was a good pitch.
It was. It really was. Foos was having a great time. But I think, interestingly enough, like the trauma that he had gone through in the past was just like, dude, I can throw a fucking stone and I will find you 6 terrible people that probably need to die right now. Like, this is a cool vision, but like, set me down somewhere and I will find you fucking shit people that I can kill right now. So like because of like that, just like ingrained in him, he was like, that's cool, but it's alright. I have no problem finding targets. But I appreciate it.
It's things like that Brannigan doesn't know, but I desperately want him to know, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, actually, the whole thing, especially like with his tattoos, it was something I was talking to Netters about. He was joking that it was the Killmonger thing, but it was kind of like the opposite. It wasn't for each kill that he got. So like one side of his body, the left side, is actually like a pledge to make vengeance for someone, essentially. So if someone was wronged, then he'll like, that's why in the beginning he made 2, because when they got the mission, they said that 2 people didn't make it. So he was marking himself for those two to make sure that he avenged their death, essentially. And then when he completes it, he mirrors it on the opposite side. And the whole reason that started was when he was younger, long story, his friends and family were essentially killed in front of him in an attack. And when their blood splattered on his arm, that image, like it was almost like the Lady Macbeth thing where he couldn't like wash it off. He couldn't like think of it not being there. So on his arm, it looks a lot more like a blood smear, but the rest is actually just like speckled and dotted. So that was kind of like his way of making sure he was taking care of people he felt like were forgotten or just ignored. So like in his mind, he was like, I will make sure that you get what is deserved. And that's vengeance. So, and he very much like sees himself as like the tool for vengeance, not necessarily like a person all that much, which is why I know it made Maya or like Merciel laugh in the first fight where he got like beat up, but the first thing he did was like, are you okay? And then Maya was like, you just got your ass whooped. And it's like, that's what he's there for. Like, that is his job. Like, he wants to make sure that everyone else is okay, because like he kind of doesn't see himself as a person really. Like, he's just like, I'm the instrument of this vengeance that is needed. So that's also why he's like a little hedonistic, and sometimes that's like at the beginning when it was like, we have a mission, but I'll dance to try and enjoy this moment right now, and then after that we'll get to whatever we need to get to. So yeah, he was fun to play, just because like I think because of his charisma and the way he kind of carries himself off. If you meet him, doesn't seem like there's too much going on, but yeah, he's a damaged person for sure. But that's why he was also like, someone needs help, and I have a very clear target, and I have other people to avenge. We're going. I'm gonna go to Waterdeep if it's fucked, because sounds like there's a lot of work that needs to be done over there.
Yeah,
like that was a lot of the way I approached him, and I forgot, like, just in terms of like even inspirations and stuff, I forgot how it even came up. I knew I wanted to play Vengeance Pally because I'm not sure if you've met our family, but we have problems with vengeance. If we feel wronged, we're like, I'm gonna get you. Let me fucking tell you. You know, like even if it's petty shit. Like if Nenners comes in and like just like throw something on the floor in my room, I will go into his room and throw 3 things on the floor in his room because I'm like, fuck you. You think this is over? so that was like definitely the reason I was drawn towards it, and especially from like if Nenners is like, make a holy character, and I'm like, I can. But I'm gonna make him vicious because I'm vicious too, and I like that. So I'm gonna do that. And yeah, that was kind of the like almost goofy thinking behind it. But he was fun to play, and actually, it was fun kind of letting him like backseat a little bit towards the end, especially because there was so much going on with like everything else with Thaven coming up, and that's actually part of the reason he didn't care. Like, obviously, he doesn't love the like racism that was outwardly shown towards him, but like it doesn't bother him all that much because he's like, it doesn't matter. It just does not matter in like what I'm here to do and what he's here to do. But like I don't love hearing it, but I'm not gonna like cause a fuss over it. Whatever.
It's not a hate problem, it's a language problem.
It would have been great if he was vengeful about that. I was just like, I will always be above you.
You know what I got that you don't? Hype, bitch.
He will catch up with the times and understand that is not acceptable language, but he carries no hate in his heart, probably.
Probably with the little trademarks.
Also, excuse me real quick while I go make an account for Brannigan, because you keep dropping more and more things. I'm like, oh no. Murray, no. And I need Brannigan to learn them.
Yo, in a way, I'm so glad that he didn't get to find out, because that would have been like quite a moment. It's like, we're not going to talk about any of this right now because we got shit to do, but like, I'm clearly a damaged person, which is why you were like, he's a therapist. I was like, oh, he has a lot of work to do, I'm sure, with the whole group. But like knowing my character and what he comes from, rat-row.
And are you kidding me? You could try and duck the conversation, but it'd come up, we're fighting devils, and I'm like, all right, so this is what I was thinking based on the last thing you said. We are busy right now. No, this is fine. We can kill them, but we're gonna keep talking.
We are busy right now. Just have therapy while fighting. But yeah, I kind of went into like the motivations and inspirations for my character, so I guess I'll talk about what he thought of everyone, I guess. I think he very much was grateful for Mauricio kind of being the straight man of the team, who like when all this weird shit was going on, even though she was like, I see dead people, she was still like the most like what he assumed was level-headed out of everyone. Like he could kind of rely on her to not do some weird shit. I guess like there was almost always a moment where he was like, that's questionable, but I think with Merciel she was kind of the only one that he was like, you're fine, I don't really need to worry about you, you should be okay. Like this guy might care too much, that one is some dark shit, I don't know what's happening. Should I do they do bad things? I'm not sure, I don't know. So that was she was happy with, or he was happy with her at least. Brannigan, I think he was actually kind of grateful for his energy in the team, because again, it was like straight man and then the crazy ladies, and then like him, who's just kind of like, I'm an instrument of justice or whatever. And so that's why I was like, okay, Brannigan is a good balance in terms of how he viewed the team. But I also think, yes, I drank all my water, thank you. I also think he was grateful that Brannigan didn't find anything about him, especially the more of the like Clarapist part he saw, where it's just like that. I don't even want to start that conversation. That's unnecessary.
Just a sign that you need the conversation.
No, it's not gonna do it. It could have come up so early too, because like when he was putting the initial tattoos on, you were outside, and like he didn't know anything about that, so it could have come up like early on, and then yeah, so that was avoided, and he was kind of grateful for that. Weirdly, I think he was most suspicious of Coraline initially, just because she was just like full shade all the time. Like there was like almost nothing that felt like full regular with her, and he was just kind of wary of that. But the more time went on, the more he was like, okay, she may have done some bad things, but she seems okay. She seems all right. It's not the worst. It's not great either, I'm sure. But...
I mean, the only bad thing she did was throw knives at the dwarf. What's the issue here? What?
Well, before we all met, you definitely killed some people. Like, there's no doubt.
For sure. Those kinds of skills, like, yeah, absolutely. And even in throwing knives at the dwarves, it's like we're working together, right? Like the whole, like we haven't even started. We haven't even started yet. And this is how you are choosing to start. So yeah, that was part of the reason why he was like, this is going to be a problem, but you kind of were it, and Coraline wasn't. So that was good for him in that regard. And especially when she was really grateful, that's when he was like, oh, okay, so you're maybe some things going on, but you're kind of certified normal-ish, not too bad. All right, we can move on. Effie was a roller coaster. For sure. I think initially he was like, she cool, she got a little bit of a temper, but it's okay. Otherwise, good. No problems. Nothing to worry about here. And then like some thoughts that she was vocalizing, he was in the back like, you guys, y'all heard that, right? Everyone heard what she just said out loud? Okay, cool. I'm sure it's fine. It's Mistra. Mistra's not a terrible person. I mean, it should be fine. We're good. And then towards the end, it went full worried. I think like in the middle, he was like, give her the benefit of the doubt. You don't know yet. Maybe some weird things happened. I'm weird too. It's fine. We'll get on. It's no big deal. And then, yeah, at the end, he was full worried. Which, being the Vengeance Paladin that he is, he was like, if you fucking hurt people, we'll see each other again. And I don't want that to happen, So, like, he is by no means looking forward to it, because he was like, no, she's okay. She's got this. It'll be all right. But he is, like, super scared that he's going to see her again in the future, and is like, because if you're doing some bad stuff, I don't know if I can let that slide, and I don't want to fight you. So, not looking forward to that on any level. So, yeah, it was a bunch of emotions towards Effie, especially leaving at the end. Good lord, oh man, that was not a good way to leave it off, especially with the like once they leave. Obviously, he doesn't know that, but as a player, that was hilarious. But yeah, that's my spiel. I think it's actually Anita's turn to give us a little info on her character and what she thought.
Oh boy. Yeah. Effie, what a what a contentious figure in the party. Um, like, when I think of inspiration for the character, I just remember wanting to play a spellcaster. Like, very early on, and I know that I personally have spent a lot of time with a cleric that is very near and dear to my heart. If anybody from that original home game is watching, Amy, Cleric of Mistra, always close to my heart. And then Nenners allowed this Unearthed Arcana subclass of Theurgy Wizard. And then, like, I think a lot of things, like, clicked and came together really well for Effie to just exist. Mistra is my favorite deity in the Forgotten Realms. And, like, when I was like, okay, I could be a Theurgy Wizard. That's a new subclass. That's Unearthed Arcana. It sounds like it could be very, like, interesting mechanically to explore. Nenners, what god would make sense for this thing? And then Nenners just said Mistra. And Mistra's my girl, my homie. Like, personally, Anita's favorite. So yeah, like, I think that personally, hags are just my favorite monster in the monster manual. I love them. I love those creepy little women in their huts, just doing strange and forbidden magics. I like them. So I wanted to try out the Haunted One background. And yeah, that's a lot of, like, the building blocks of how Effie sort of mechanically came to be. Yeah, like, gosh, it was strange. Like, when I figured out, like, what time we were in, after, like, oh, Mistra had just been displaced like 40 years ago. Like, Effie's parents are probably older than the current goddess Mistra. And Effie's parents outlived the goddess Mistra. So your goddess was the, like, super ancient, really, really cool goddess of magic that had reigned for thousands of years. And now she gets kidnapped by demons and dies like 20 years into her shift, which is, that's a bad rep.
Into her shifts.
Like, what can I say? Effie wanted more. Disappointed in this celestial review. Maybe we'll, like, come up in another couple of decades, see if we can get some improvement going. But nah, like, I am really grateful to Nenners for allowing me to work and play in this with this character and with that, like, deity. I love some Mistra lore. And God, like, playing specifically with Midnight as, like, a young goddess that, like, also doesn't know what the shit she's doing. That was That was fun. Gosh, yeah, I guess that's Effie's whole thing. Like, I also remember looking at the roster we had gotten so far and seeing, okay, this campaign is for paladins and clerics. That's a wisdom caster. That's a charisma caster. We have 2 monks. Those are 2 sort of melee people that like sometimes use wisdom.
And we're all dumb.
No one knows how to int. No one at all can intelligence anything in this dungeon. So what if I had a religious scholar? And I resent the assertion that there were only 2 or 3 holy warriors come to this shindig. Effie is a warrior, and Effie is a servant of a goddess.
No.
And that is holy and warrior.
Holy
Together-
was the questionable adjective.
That is
The
Listen.
second a demon thick enough walked in, you went, well, fuck this shit.
listen.
Enough.
Not all the gods in the Forgotten Realms are good. Not all the gods in the Forgotten Realms are good.
Or the ones beyond it.
I think his point is there was a lack of worship. It was more like a friendship, kind of like maybe even like a mentorship.
I will say this, it felt very right for a Theurgy wizard because
Yeah.
basically you already had access to magic, so what did you actually need your god for? So you barely worshipped. Because you're like, what? I already had this, but this is awesome. I appreciate the magic. This is more of an arrangement we have. So it fit, but you weren't holy. It's all right. I'm just saying
I
That's
feel
where I'm
like if
coming
Mistra was alive, she would be much more holy. She would be much more like deferent.
I like
But
that
she
it's
was-
like, but because you're a weak bitch, I don't fucking follow you very
Like-
good.
Midnight. Like, what are you doing? You've already messed up so badly. Like, how did you get this job? Did you have the qualifications? Like,
My favorite part is it feels like you think Effie would have been a better god of magic. And
Oh,
I
absolutely.
respect that
Effie-
level
Effie
of
absolutely
confidence.
absolutely believes that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like with wizards just in general, you've gotta have that level of like, oh yeah, I can do anything. The laws of the universe are guidelines, and I can do
Suggestions.
whatever I want to like make them bend to fit my will. I think that's something else that I really loved about like this campaign is just like the ability to play a high level wizard and just like be able to live in that like, yeah, I'm 20, 30, 40 years old. It's unclear. And I can do anything at all. I have the power of minor gods in the palm of my hands. And that's love wizards, love Mistra. This was fun. What I think of everybody. You know, work buddies, they're cool. They're like, I think Effie got started on just the worst foot because like the person that like invited us all this way out into the middle of bumfuck dwarf land
Rude.
sat us down at a table and said, hey, the person that killed your favorite goddess put his hands on this food and blessed it. So dig in. Like from that moment on, there was no interactions that were going to be made in that church that were gonna be okay. It's just it was gonna be bad. Like we ended up making up with Brannigan like after the meeting. As soon as we got out of the church, it was like, okay, I'm good. That man from the Order of the Gauntlet pissed Effie the fuck off. I think she's probably just gonna try to do something to him. Not like a big something, but like a little just to make your day worse. Um, like she's gonna try that. Maybe like she might like if she can figure out how to like send an invisible stalker to people, she wants to do that. But maybe to just like trip him up on his way up the stairs. Or just like blow open his window in the middle of the night when it's cold, you know? But God, yeah. Effie, after that one like contentious thing with Brannigan seems cool. A little stuck up, a little like morals. I think that's a thing after you're raised by hags and like begin to like get some unhealthy coping mechanisms about like, all right, how do we survive? How do we like get better at magic? How do we get more powerful? I think there are morals and codes that people in the party have that are just understood that Effie needs taught to her. You know? Like, if there's like a layout of like, this is a list of people that are okay to kill on sight. This is a list of people that are not okay to kill on sight. I feel like that would have made things clearer to Effie, just in a lot of respects. Like, if you're a demon, if you're a flump, you know, we're all just out here trying to live, you know? But I digress. Gosh, yeah, I think, I think there's like a very, I think with Moody, uh, now after that like very intense talk where Moody made it very clear that like, if you don't follow these unwritten rules that I have not told you, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna hurt you.
He was very clearly like, don't hurt people. And then she was like, what about all the people we've heard here? And he's like, those are demons and devils. They don't count. You know, people, like people, don't hurt those people.
That should have cleared it right up.
That's all you need to know. But no, I loved that conversation because it was like, no one's on the same page here.
We talked to a literal Baal Norn, and you seemed cool with the Baal Norn. And then we talked to some like humanoids that were like touched by devils, and we killed them. So like, there's so much there, and God, if there's one thing about Effie, she's gonna make a contingency plan. So like she's definitely starting work on contingency plans for all of y'all's. Like honestly, less so for the monk Mary. There's a Moody and there's a Mary, and the
Mauricio.
Mary one, like Mauricio. Yeah, probably doesn't have a contingency plan for you, just because like you got hurt a lot in that fight, and it's just like, oh, you seem cool, and you seem like you're very good with fists, but you don't seem like a problem I need to really think on for too long. Um, that's another thing. Effie is fucking arrogant. And if she ever dies, that is going to be the cause of it. But no, I think the one person that she is really worried about, like coming back to really bite her in the ass, is Coraline.
What? Why?
Because like
You won't see her coming.
we seem very, very cool. Like we both are of the understanding that like we will betray each other for one corn chip of power. Well, for one corn chip of power. And Coraline would betray Effie for Effie doesn't know. I think that's the thing. Effie understands that the other three have a code and morals, and that she can probably negotiate or talk out and figure out what it is they want from her, and like finagle her way out of the situation with words.
Oh,
Because
Did she break up for you? Okay.
Oh no, we lost her.
Oh, come
You know, it's
back.
getting good.
It was mid-explanation. Dang it.
Well,
Back.
while we wait for Anita to return, before we forget that someone spent very valuable channel points, Maya, promote your project. It was
Yeah, I was actually going to say, this is a good time. You have to go promote your project now. So Maya...
oh no, what happened? I seem to have vanished.
No.
We can hear you.
Back. Come back, yeah. Also, Anita, if you're back, we're having Maya promote her project while you're getting set up. So don't worry. Go right ahead, Maya.
Yeah. I am currently working on a project that is called the Bella Knights at the moment, but that is a working title. It will be changing soon. That's why I don't really promote it as much as I used to, because I'm just like, I have to fix the name. I don't want to talk about it until I fix the name. Shut up, Foos. I know it's weird. Anyway.
It's not even that. It's that you barely even promoted it in the first place. And I'm not going to say anything about it, but go ahead.
I used to mention it all and stuff more often. Anyways, it is a sci-fantasy TTRPG in the making. I've been working on it since probably 2015 in some capacity or another. First it was a hobby, and then it turned into like a thing that consumes my life. So I have to do it before it makes me destitute. But yeah, it's very complex, and I am in the midst of updating it. Hopefully for the last time. So once I do that, I will be dropping way more info on it. And you shut the hell up, Foods. Get tired of your shit. Ooh. We are very antagonistic right now. But yeah, nah. Everybody in this chat right now is like totally had my back working on this, and I greatly value and appreciate every one of you, even when you kick my ass. Sometimes it's needed. But yeah, so look forward to getting more info about that at a later time. Ninners is going to grill me at one point. Don't know when that is about this. And at the same time, I do plan on once this update is finished, putting together like one-shots, like actual one-shots.
Everyone here who said they're going to do one hasn't done one yet. So we'll see if you can break the curse, girl.
Dang me.
I have, Nanners, I still have.
That shit was like 8 hours. It doesn't count.
You don't get to leave until we finish it.
It was 4 hours, then, and your
It was
one shot
6.
was 12. It wasn't.
It 100%
The
was.
recording was not. I'm gonna look it up right now. You keep talking.
Okay.
Go ahead, Maya. Keep talking, Maya.
I'm enjoying this. Where's that PvP emote? Did we lose it? Is it gone now?
We did lose it because we ran out of things.
It was supposed to go to 12 to 4 and ended up going like 12 to 6. I had to go to Maya's thing late. I RPG'd from 12 to like 10 that day.
Hold on. Let me go
I
for
remember
Oh.
it specifically.
Keep talking.
But yeah,
Let Maya talk.
so I'll be giving you guys more info about that. We'll likely be running some live playtests, probably in the coming months or so. I don't anticipate taking too much longer working on this. So yeah, look forward to that. We're gonna be messing around with some crazy sci fantasy action. Got a little cyberpunk, a little solar punk, a little bit of post apocalyptic anarchic shit going on. It's gonna be great. I fully expect them to do very chaotic things that I cannot anticipate, like getting my NPCs blackout drunk, which is a thing that has happened in the past. So, I see.
That
Is
toast
Amigo
cake is
okay?
killing me. I'm sorry. There's like barely any definition to that body.
No,
If
I
there
was
weren't
just
ears, it's like there's just a fuzzy round boy in there. And I love it. It is great.
you are
Yeah,
a
there we go.
round boy.
She's back.
Hey!
Welcome back.
All right. Let me make sure
Thank
that
you,
it
Dragon
actually
Rest. You're very nice.
Yeah, we're very excited for it. There was something else I was gonna say as I was getting this thing ready. Also, Nunes, you're thinking of the wrong one. You're thinking of Sneaks on a Train because Holly Brawley Night was shorter. And you
Is that
were
the
in
gay
that
bar
beach.
one?
Yeah, that was the gay bar one.
Oh, okay.
I was earlier going to
Mhm.
suggest
Yep.
in the response that part of the reason for Effie's inspiration was the need for an int character to go. We should do an all barbarian thing because who needs int characters? We already did that.
We did.
have
but
to
we'll
do
do it
it
again.
And the answer
We'll
is
do
you
it
really need an int character, but
Yeah.
sometimes not
No,
having
it
the thing you
wasn't.
need is fun.
It was
It
great.
wasn't. It was
I was
great.
hitting people with baguettes. It was fantastic.
Oh my god. It was amazing.
And I can't even fault you for your turn at the end of this because Dorn, who was the barbarian there, was straight up, I'm sorry, sexy wrestle lady? Yes, please. What are we doing at the end of that? So
That was amazing.
But you were saying, Anita, sorry, before the internet took you.
Welcome back.
Hey, you know, Effie can talk her way out of anything that she understands. She understands like do-gooders enough to be like, oh, I repent and I will do whatever I need to do to like make it so that I can walk out of here. And if I can't take you in a fight, I can probably like talk to you. Effie doesn't think Corlin would like, if Corlin wanted to step to Effie wouldn't realize it until like the dagger was in her back, right? So yeah, like an eye out for Corlin. Like I think she likes Corlin. I think Corlin is the most like her out of all of her work friends in that latest expedition.
Is that a good thing?
Oh, that's a wonderful thing.
Okay.
Like, we could definitely be friends, but Effie would also need to be the most on her guard just with you and around you. And when Effie tries to go visit San Loric, she's definitely coming squatted up. Just because there's no telling
So is this like
how
deadly
outnumbered
frenemies?
she's gonna be.
Mhm.
Yeah, deadly frenemies, you know?
I mean, it's kind of
Uh.
like, just to put it in perspective, it's the fantasy equivalent of being invited to Langley or MI6. Like she's a like super spy. Like she's been a spy for so long that she's so deeply embedded in that culture and like everything around it. And I think Effie would absolutely be like aware of like, if this is just one of them, what does the rest of them look like, right? Like honestly, depending on what crew you're rolling with, one of them might be them. Like it's one of those situations where it's like it's borderline scrolls situation where you're like, I don't know who to fucking trust. This is crazy. But I want Kit to talk more about San Laura because it's a sweet, like, I love knowledge at any cost. I think that's a fun kind of, not at any cost, but like extreme lengths to get knowledge and what are you doing with it and all this other stuff. But anyway, I don't want to interrupt too much, but yeah, San Laura could be fun. San Laura.
Oh, is that on me? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was giving it back to Anita to finish. I don't know if she had anything else
okay.
to say. I totally interrupted her.
Nah, I had a blast. And like we said holy warriors, and I contend that I made a holy warrior, and I brought her to the game, and we played. And
What does that mean? You did it in the letter of, but maybe not the spirit of. But yeah, you did it. You did this. That's great. I thoroughly loved it. I did.
Yeah, and also, Effie is holed up somewhere. Like, I think the prologue of this is Effie tries to go visit her hag mother, and be like, hey, I need training to figure out what the fuck is going on with this midnight character, and also to like, what do you have for like adventurers that are kind of on your back and have threatened you with violence? Because Effie's hag mother has experience in those realms. But yeah, that's my girl. She's gonna try to live forever, and she is almost there. Like it's wild how, yeah, level 13. Thank you for that gift, Nenners. Because God, the power that was at my fingertips just from jump, I was able to be.
No.
Oh no, new lizard! No! That's one hell of a dramatic pause.
It is. I will say with I don't know if many people know, but what's it called? Coraline. Oh, she's back. All right, awesome. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Okay. Well,
I'm done talking, so other people can go before I shut down again.
So, people, thank you. That was awesome. By the way. People probably don't know that when Coraline got to the bridge, before they got into the keep, Melil basically said, "I'm sick of your impostoring. You have two choices. You can serve me and be useful, or be dead." And basically chose that. And then, in some pro-ass move, managed to pass a check to ask for assistance, given that whole situation. And that's what that skeleton with like the four swords was just basically dispelled, because Melil was like, all right, I am asking you to help me. Here's a good faith effort on my half so that you can go ahead. And I'm sorry,
go.
No, you go ahead, please.
That was at the same time one of the coolest and yet the most terrifying things that happens to me in D&D ever. I'm just sitting there. I'm hearing my friends talk, right? And I'm like, what the fuck do I do here? Because it takes me a minute to get into character, It took me forever to do that. And then I see this thing pop up on the corner of my screen. Melil is threatening my life. Oh my god, what the fuck? Oh my god, I was freaking out.
It was the most interesting DM you've ever
At the
received.
beginning of your quest, the god of music threatened to smite you. Nanners, what the fuck?
Can you imagine if like there was just a little bit of sass in Corlin and we just watched her get like holy beamed to death?
I mean,
well, that was weird. We're down to 4 now.
I mean, the production value on that smiting, there'd been like choreography and.
I actually had a stab. I don't have the art. I had this pretty cool art of a like bard planetar who was gonna be if you said, fuck you, or like I choose death. Milil would have sent that down to finish you essentially, and had all kinds of bard-like powers on top of being.
Yeah, she and her group have close ties to Milil. So if he says dance, she's dancing. That kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the one thing I did want to ask you, Nanners, is when I did do that, as you said, the boss role to get the help from Milil, you gave me 2 options. That was do a distraction or grant transportation. What would happen if I chose transportation?
You would have been actually taken to the Baelnorn.
Oh,
all the way down there, like pretty much instantly. But in that, you would have passed the. You would have had a bonus to pass the screening from him.
Oh, okay.
Because of the connection there.
Saved us some time on that door.
Cut this whole bitch in half.
I'm sorry, Food. I didn't know. Don't hurt me.
We wouldn't have dealt with doors. No one was comfortable.
You wouldn't have gotten the key.
Also,
you wouldn't have dealt with some doors.
Please remember, Kit, this conversation that you just said out loud on stream, and that you were the most terrified at this moment that Nanners was DMing when we have the Who Has the Darkest campaign.
No, but terrified in a good way. You know?
Still terrified.
I have this recorded, all right, and I have it. All right.
Just clip it at the end for you.
Just clip in what you said. Okay.
This is why I love you guys. I absolutely love you guys. But I wanted to give Kit props because you came in with a stealthy character, and just given what was there, like I kind of had to blow your cover at least internally the whole time, and then. You carried the harp throughout the game, which for a Dex character is horrible. Like basically given a stone ballast.
People agree on that harp thing because that's not.
So you're carrying the sins of your past figuratively in there, and you rolled with it, man. And I gave you so many options to do the wrong thing, Coral, I gotta say I was super proud of that. You role playing and be that as a character because that was fantastic. Because honestly, the shadiest person there had probably, with the exception of maybe Effie, the most tumultuous spiritual journey, right? Like it questioned what you were doing, your alliances, betraying. Because that's also what Mephistopheles was trying to. He was trying to split that apart. He's like, "Fuck Milil, I'll help your people out in San Loric. You just give me that heart." You know what I mean? Like, where does this lie? And you stayed true to your word to Milil and told him to kick rocks.
That was part of it. For her, that was part of it. The other part is, again, her people over in Tenlord have a kind of like I wouldn't call it like a, what's the word here? An alliance with Milil. They have kind of like an impasse with him, right?
Yep.
And so that was part of it. It's like, look, I do this. He fucks him over.
Right. That bridge is burnt. Yep.
Yeah. So no.
That makes some sense. Because hearing some of this, I was like, why on earth didn't you be like, yeah, let's kill Milil? That just solves my problem.
No.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Plus, then Milil can't be hurting your family if Milil's dead.
Well, we're not killing Milil. It was just all. It was just give me the harp. It would upset Milil greatly.
First off, you should, of course, whatever you said is wrong because Kill Milil flows so well that it's 100% what that
does.
100%.
But Milil is a god at full power. You're not killing him with a harp. Even an archdevil is not killing him anytime soon.
Nah, that's fine. He's a god of music, though, so he'll sing a song about it, but then you just need to stab.
But yeah, Kid, if you wanted to... Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just thinking of the hit song by SZA, Kill Bill, except Kill Milil.
Oh, God.
And it, yeah. I'm just imagining a music video with Coraline at the center of it and just like still a fan even though I was salty. Hate to see you with some other god make you happy. Hate to see you happy if I'm not the one driving knives into your back. You know, it flows.
Flows. Yeah, no, that was cool. But I think you're the only one who hasn't done a character breakdown. So you want to go into it, Kit?
No, I already did.
We started with him.
Yeah.
But if there's anything else you want to bring in, because I know
think people went
was
like
very...
further depth afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Poorly said.
If you wanted to, because I know there's things that you're like, I don't know if I want to say it yet, and that's all good.
Well, yeah, she comes from a weird ass organization, like I said, that likes information. That's what they're about. They have a tenuous, again, not alliance with Malil. And they kind of use that as a way to sneak in around the places. They tend to pose as beggars and poets and just musicians and clerics in general. And just to gather information. What for? Nobody, even the people involved gathering the information, they don't fucking know. That's how that goes. But yeah, she in general, she has a good standing with who she keep calling her king, which is the leader of the organization. And she gets to travel around with the help of one of the heralds, which it's if you guys I think Nenner alluded to it at the end of the last session, is the gigantic spider that can travel between planes.
Starting to think you're in a cult. I'm just gonna say it.
I can neither confirm nor deny, sir.
I'm just saying. Somebody wants you to collect a whole bunch of information, and you just said the people collecting it don't know what it's for, which means you value information, but you don't question things. That's some cult shit.
You have to have faith that your service will help.
Cult shit.
Yeah. But no, that is a big thing for her. Like whenever Malil would ask her to do something, her response was, "I will serve."
Yep.
That was always her response. "I will serve."
Yep.
Because that is her life. She has no life outside of serving this organization.
Fun fact: if you would have died with that harp, because you were down super low, right? If not KO'd, you were damn close. If you had the harp and you died defending it, Malil would have taken your soul. Like, not as a bad thing, but like to guard, like as an honor kind of thing. Yeah.
Like in a cool like Shang Tsung way, where they just appear, lift the body, and pull it out your face.
No, it would have been a musical kind of like melody that would have kind of briefly like transposed your life into music, kind of thing, as it kind of ended in a harmonious note and would have taken you.
You say that, but death metal and black metal are also music types. So
all I'm picturing is you dying and then Styx playing as Malil shows up. A gathering of angels appeared above my head.
Oh my god!
And you just get taken up to magic heaven on an angel starship, because it's one of the like 3 songs anyone remembers from Styx.
Actually, when she was going to face the Belnorn, she actually I privately messaged Effie. I needed this for Effie. She informed Effie to if she died during this, she told her to leave. She had a flower on her neck that was covered in blood. She told her to leave that on and to get her body over to her village. That's how Effie knew about the village.
No, it was a big ass favor to ask somebody.
three holy warriors, and you chose Shady McShady to honor your death.
Well, the implication being, hey, you'll be rewarded, yeah. So, get her done.
Yeah. Well, if any of the holy warriors showed up to the cult, we'd be like, okay, I gotta do something about this.
No, I keep telling you, I can neither confirm or deny the existence of a cult.
That's what a cultist would say, and I don't need you to confirm shit.
You are not helping at all.
And they're like summoning lavas. Just
oh my god!
I was like
chanting and shit.
I'd walk into the main building, which is clearly a library, and see a bunch of people putting books on shelves. And through conversation, it might come up, "What's your favorite book?" "Oh, I don't know. We're not allowed to read." Okay, we gotta fix this.
Red flag number 5.
Yep.
What were you gonna say, Dennis?
I'm a fan of cults. I like unironically doing the right thing sometimes. Like, God, there was some 40K story about the place being infiltrated in like a cult, which wasn't like great from a societal perspective, but like against an enemy invader is like, oh, okay, you guys are actually kind of on our same side, and you have all these resources, and I know what to expect from you. And from a morale perspective, you guys aren't breaking because you're all Looney Tunes. So this is great. Like, you all think you're dying for a cause. That's amazing. Come here, I got a use for you. Like, you know, and as long as you're like, all right, praise whoever, they're good. I love that I like when fringe elements of society prove useful for weird reasons. That I find that funny. But yes,
I think that's also like a really cool like way to approach the Holy Warrior is because like especially with fantasy, you don't think of like some weird culty shadow ninja shit. You know, I think most of like we'll consider just the usual typical whatever. And that was part of the reason with like Moody picking Poor, yes, great god name, whatever, was kind of easier for me just because like that god doesn't really require worship all that much. It's usually like he's a very like circumstantial god where it's just like if you're mad and you want vengeance, you just say his name a couple times, there might be some weird thunder sounds, and then boom, you're done. That's it. You don't need to like, you know, praise him or anything like that.
I'm sorry, what? You say his name a couple times? So what does that look like? You're standing in an alley just yelling horror, or what?
Sure. I don't know, but like there's certain things that you can do to like get in his favor or whatever. But
hopefully
he's
raining tears coming down.
No.
For dramatic effect.
Lady comes around, you call for me, baby.
Poor, I need you now. Somebody shows up like, hey,
the great name choice, by the way. I love that so much.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Horror is dope. I having that.
You heard it here, folks. Horror is dope.
As a vengeance god, the horrors are dope. Yeah, no, it was fun. I definitely enjoyed. I loved all your characters. I really did. You got the vast majority of the important stuff done. I don't think there's too much that you kind of left on the table. You could have. There were schematics that Effie maybe could have followed if you went deeper into that room and like pulled some stuff out. You could have like found more of like what they were actually like, how they're physically being created, and have an idea of how to create that in the future. But I don't really think Effie would get in the manufacturing business, so it was just like a loose end that was left there.
Can I ask you a very, very important question here?
Sure.
How in the blue hell did you think any of this could translate into a one shot?
I didn't think it was gonna be one shot. It was supposed to be 8 to 12 episodes.
That's what I'm saying is like you have so many contingencies and so many like side missions and so many. I think it's great. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely applaud your ability to like create something this big and this huge. But I'm just like, there's so much stuff here. How do you one shot this?
In Nenners' defense, it was never planned to be a one shot. In Nenners' offense, this bitch was supposed to have it to be fucking 8 episodes, pretty much max, including wrap up. And 19 episodes later, I'm hounding Nenners, and I'm like, dude, I'm having a good time. So this is the weirdest thing I have to talk to you about because this is great. I'm having a good time, but I'm trying to schedule some shit. It's real hard to do that with something that was supposed to be a third of its current length. It's still going.
You can't yell at the guy who built the room. You gotta yell at the people who won't open the damn door.
Oh my god.
There's so much shit in the room, Joe. Come on.
But the consequences of those traps were usually like, we're gonna set you back anyway. It wasn't like, oh, you took 12 damage, keep walking. It was like, you got teleported to the hells in a group full of holy people who are gonna be like, probably shouldn't leave the cleric in the hells. You know, so like, that would turn into a whole thing. Or it was like, hey, you know how you traveled 35,000 steps to get up here? Yeah, you're gonna fall down all of them. So, like, it was always like a time-consuming trap, not just like, oh, you got a little dart in your shoulder, now you're a little sleepy. It's like, this will fuck your team up if you fail. So yeah, part of that I was just like, oh god, why are there traps all over the place? I swear we're just trying to get from point A to point B.
Joke's on
Nanners,
you.
come on.
If we had gone to the fire plane, there was another door in the fire plane that led to the last door of the tower thing.
The door.
So we'd have skipped 80% of the keep by going through the fire plane. It was a shortcut the whole time.
But
It was
then
like-
we would have missed out on all the cool shit. See, it's
Actually, yeah, but what would that have looked like, then, until we did get thrown there?
I did have a map for the fire plane. I did have some NPCs there that you could have talked to, including a magma elemental getting into an argument with a fire elemental because they weren't supposed to be there, which was like another issue behind that because magma is fire and earth. And it was like kind of a tongue-in-cheek, like, you're an immigrant, get out of here. Like,
Okay, yeah,
play
kinda
against
like-
each other.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
you look different, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So there's some fun things there, and if you played it right, the one from the fire one would say, "Hey, I'll help you get out of here. Just take that one with you," and you would have potentially had like a little magma elemental with you.
So we could have met racism and xenophobia.
Such a dark take. I heard fun character interaction and a magma friend to help us kill demons.
Sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So
change what I said.
but
No,
yeah,
Leonard, I think what you did was absolutely marvelous. Even though I'm like giving you a little bit of shit,
oh yeah, please give it to me.
I'm just like, how on even 8 episodes? How did you think that would be 8 episodes? There were so many contingencies, side plots, and potential. Like, it seemed like everything had an extra part to it.
So the way I always approach things, and not always, but I density I think is important because first off, you guys are crazy. I have no idea what you're doing. And second, you're high level, which means you literally can do a tremendous amount of things, right? Like as soon as you got 7th level spells, teleports on the board, right? Like there's all kinds of things that you guys can do that, or not 7th level spells. The potential for things like the monks could have been like, I just want to run up the side of the castle. Okay, I need a map for that, right? What are you looking at? What are you doing? I want to look in this mirror, like room. All right, what does that room look like? What's in there? Like, there's so many. Once you get to a certain level, you have to plan for contingencies. I don't think that, obviously the vast majority are going to get hit. Just the main story ones, and you might have like plot lines like, hey, there's a symbol of Mystra on the door. Okay. Obviously, that's probably going to elicit a reaction from somebody. Things like that. But I like... God, I was not ready for that. Get out of here, Foos. I think having a level of depth with these things gives people options and helps them be prepared when you guys do go off the rails. So it's fun. It does end up being longer in some instances, but yeah, if you're doing high level play, you kind of have to because you can't really cordon off your characters as you could if it was a bunch of like level 2s and 3s,
I will say that contingency can also work in your favor for keeping things on the shorter side. Because if you think, how are they going to break this room and plan for as much of it as possible, you make all of the ways they break it point back to the room. So it's like, okay, this is a thing. You got to do the thing you wanted to do. We experienced a little bit, but now we're back to where we're back at square 1. So you can continue going to square 2 instead of trying to go to square 1.3.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
So planning that much lets you not have to fumble, make something up, and then get stuck on a tangent for too long.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one thing I was very grateful for going to Girls Run These Worlds for the Claws of Cosmena thing, because that really made me realize how much, like, I very much have a DM style that's kind of similar to Nender's, where it's just like, I want to make sure that all of the viable options are here for my players, because I want them to do whatever the fuck they want. But when they were like, you have 8 episodes tops, I'm like, shit! Yeah, all right! I have to cut some stuff. And yeah, it became super truncated.
Aww.
And I was like, here are the main. Oh, but is that Pinta?
Yep.
She's not having it. She's done.
Yep.
She's out.
Gotta let her go.
Oh, But yeah, I think even in Test Team M, I think you guys had like 3 fights or something. Because I was like, I gotta just really pull back on it and know that like there's gonna be plenty of roleplay too. Because you guys made awesome fucking characters, and for the most part, in most situations, you guys are being introduced to each other for the first time. So you want them to be able to interact as well in between, and yeah, quite the learning experience for sure.
Yeah, Burton Burp.
Yeah.
Super hilarious. Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun. You guys are great. I definitely took some turns I did not expect, as per usual. But even with just the character selection and stuff, but yeah, that was good. I thought Anita would have turned a little bit in the final fight, so I'm proud of her for not. Because I gave her some options.
No. Was there, besides the whole opera house thing, was there something that you were kind of like, oh, I wish they saw that?
If you guys would have taken the sea route or the river route,
I tried, man.
Well, yeah, Brannigan was trying so hard.
Yeah, there were some sea trolls, not a lot, which would have been kind of a fun encounter. There was ultimately though, you would have found the reason why the cash crabs were leaving was because there was an ongoing conflict between the Kuatoa and the Sahuagin that were there that you could have kind of gotten into. They were influenced. The Sahuagin, if anyone who had fought them before would have realized, like, they were super organized and somewhat well armed, and the Kuatoa were native to that area and were trying to fight them off. And you could have had an option of either wiping them all out or doing whatever. And you would have been able to access the Undercroft there as well, and there's another kind of subsection for that. But you would have found out why the cash crabs were leaving, and found out that the Sahuagin have some kind of made a pact with what's it called? Why can't I think of his name right now? It's another arch. I need to look it up. It's another archdevil, basically, to kind of keep anyone from approaching from a water angle, essentially, to the keep. So they would be hyper aggressive. But the Kuatoa were slowing them down because they're just doing what they do, and like their weird, like, pseudo magic and constantly worshiping weird things. So that was an option for you guys.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
She's burning.
And I think that would have been a fun fight too, especially for the monks, because you guys were you able to? Mauricio could probably run on water, right? I don't know if.
So could Coraline.
Oh yeah.
So you would have been likely attacked on the boat or close to the boat, and having monks that could do crazy shit like that would have been fun.
Oh, hey, I'm Boggle. What's up, Boggle?
Thanks, But anywho, yeah, I think that was probably it for like major stuff. The only, I think, villainy kind of person that lived was Neferata. That's like she got her ass whipped and didn't want to die again.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that,
she ran away.
Yeah, she ran away. And she would have tried to attack you guys if you were in a really bad spot, but you guys were doing well, so she like never had really a good opportunity. And then it's like, I put it in as like if she doesn't find one in the next couple fights, she's just gonna leave.
So she just would have showed up like,
yeah. If it wasn't going your way or was real close, she
bit the shit out of Mauricio again.
Yep. She would have tried to bite or like take one of you guys, like capture you, that kind of situation. Try to lure you into a trap that would have been bad. But
Good question from Mowgli. What would have happened if Coraline took the deal there?
If you would have took, I threw so many at you. We're talking about the one with
which one?
With Asmodeus?
Yeah. No, Mephistopheles.
Oh, sorry, Mephistopheles. So what essentially would have happened was you would have been teleported to your my goodness, my brain. Help me out with the name of your town, your peoples.
San Lorech.
All right, thank you. And upon being there, you would have been also come with like a ton of tomes of various levels of forbidden knowledge and things that archdevils and devils would be privy to. But in getting the harp, he'd be able to like kind of use that to empower himself and kind of take a notch out of Asmodeus's belt. That was like the big thing, and basically destabilize and essentially take over the keep eventually, but slowly. Would replace Asmodeus's agents with his. It would also help him reconstitute way faster, like within a couple of weeks, and he would have been a major player then, and he likely would have used that keep in a long-term kind of situation as like his bastion, assuming the rest of you guys had left or something, or lost that fight with that particular situation. But yeah, the idea was to take that power from Asmodeus, because the whole point of Asmodeus being there was he wanted a font of magic that he could sell as currency. If Dragoth wins, then there is no magic, right? It's gone. So he actually has basically a gold mine that he's farming that he can later use when all the other gold mines are dried up. So he would have taken that, used it as a way of making as many packs as he possibly could with every mortal that may or may not have deserved it, and kind of increased his power base through that particular avenue.
Yeah, that is ugly. Damn.
Yeah. See, you should have taken the deal and signed it in blood, and then you would have gotten a whole bunch of books you wouldn't have been allowed to read.
Yeah, and it would have been a significant amount of knowledge, like generations worth of knowledge for your people. So
Okay.
yeah, it's one of those things.
That
Where,
you
However,
won't
I also I can't imagine how her king would have felt like, oh yeah, I just screwed over the guy we've been dealing with for again generations here. Like okay,
yeah, no, that would have been
books, but yeah.
The thing about that though is, there may have been some, in the end terms, I may have had you like do some rolls for your king to see what temptations he would fall victim to, right? It's the whole, everyone's got a price, you just got to name it, right? At some point someone's going to do something they might not want to do if the price is high or good enough. So yeah, that would have been a fun conversation.
Well, now I know. Joe, next time I will consider signing it in blood.
Sign it in blood. It's not even about whether it's a good deal or a bad deal, or a good choice or a bad choice for your character. If there's a demon deal, somebody's got to take it. That's just good story overall.
And Malil would have been pissed.
Oh god.
Yeah. Yep. But not
It's a catalyst. I'm just saying. You don't say, hey, remember that time we went to the bar and someone almost got into a fight, but then they didn't? No. You say, remember the time we go to the bar and that one guy knocked out the guy's teeth out? Yeah. Was it a good thing? No. Was it a story? Yes.
Yes.
It's awesome. But
Sign
I
it
think it was fun seeing the various ways that people were approached, It's like, I'm gonna help you people if you wanna do some shit. No, all right, cool. Do you want cool magic stuffs? No, all right. Well, let's see. That was very funny. And then, I know when he was reached out to once, and there was another time where like he could just sense it around him before it fucked off, which just amused the shit out of me because it's just like you're just hanging out, and then it's like fucking the devil, and then it disappears, and you're like, okay, I guess. But no, that was a cool scene.
I mean, it was fun to see how you all were tempted. The devil didn't even talk to me.
Kicks a stone.
I did actively mime kicking a stone while I said that.
You have to.
I think Brannigan would have found a way to throw a hammer at him in his mindscape. Just hey, you want
to?
Weirdly, I wasn't surprised that the devil didn't come talk to the cleric. Like, maybe I can tempt this guy.
Well, you gotta remember, ever since when you got the harp, he was studying you guys the whole time, just looking for angles.
Yeah, because he was, yeah.
Exactly, and it could dive a little deeper because of who he is, and if you had anybody who died who was close to you, he could tap into that. But there's no angle on Brannigan, right? Like, you're so, your god and like your culture and everything is so tied into that character that like he didn't have anything on offer that would have made you want to break such strong bonds. So, unfortunately, you were not tempted.
It's funny he didn't have an angle because Brandon was all about angles with which to throw a hammer.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he more or less knew that it's like, I mean, maybe I can offer him some kind of devil hammer, but like, what's he gonna do with it?
Devil hammer. Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Which is more than likely gonna come back at me at some point. So no, we're good.
Oh, at some point would have been, this I could have this. Throw at his face.
yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, it was good for that one thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it wouldn't have flown. And I think the other thing that saved you guys a little bit was Effie was there, and she did have experience with contracts. So if anyone talked to her about it, then she could help you find like that's a hitch, that's a snag. This is a loophole you can use, stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously, a Mephistopheles contract is going to be magnitudes above an average Devil's, but it'd still be enough to save you from a decent amount of pain before jumping in on it. And anywho, I think we're kind of winding down here. Did anybody else have anything that you wanted to talk about?
You guys answered all my questions.
We can, and well, yeah. There's depending on where the character. Well, no.
Wait, what?
You don't appreciate us, them?
Yeah.
I know, like just how casual this is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
the wizard that very nearly sold us all out to a devil because boy was he thick.
Effie's gonna have a very interesting few years because of your actions. Mephistopheles is on the slow roll, and you got nothing but time. Some weird shit's gonna happen, and some the devil's getting you to meet them when you're weak is the quintessential, right? Like just when your hag moms isn't doing so well, and this is happening, and like just slow death by 1,000 cuts kind of situations over time. Reach out to him. He's got a contract ready. Let's go.
Right now.
Bogley is also ready to.
The wedding wasn't a wedding ring. The ring was designed. It was a frost and fire resistant ring, because that's what I said. You're gonna need this to survive the night, because his realm is like one of the, I think, the coldest realm in the Hells. But he's also the master of Hellfire, which is what all the flames that were around there. So even just to get into that bedroom chamber, was.
But you know how that would have sounded, right? You're gonna need this to survive the night.
That was also
Yeah,
that both were true.
Both were true. Yeah,
both were true. Correct.
So that's what was on offer, but she didn't take the ring. The ring may have had some other things to it.
Of course.
It might have been slightly cursed. But yeah, that was an option.
Only a little bit cursed.
Just a little bit cursed. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Can't be too careful with these people,
With these devils.
Cursed.
Arch devils.
Well, you said they weren't. Oh, this is you making the argument that they're not people.
That's
They're not people, Nenners. They're
They're not people.
He thinks he's people.
That's a clippable offense.
That is amazing. Oh my god! I kind of get like you should get like an all pally group that are just super. I can't say racist, right? Like I guess super whatever against demons and devils. Like just you're the less than, and you're just talking shit the whole time.
Look, I'm down for that. That sounds amazing. But like that reminds me, I was a little surprised that Moody passed all of the like character checks, I guess, because he is a very like ends justifies the means, and again, like thinking of himself the way he does, it's like, yeah, I might do a terrible thing, but to a terrible person. So he was lawful neutral because there are things that he will do that is probably not super accepted. But if it's if he's justified in his vengeance in his mind, then he's like, it's fine. About it.
The Baelmorn one was the easiest for you to pass because you were both elves and you were both sacrificing elements of your morality, and not morality, but like character, I guess, to a degree, in order to benefit people. because the Baelnorn turns itself into that so it can continue to serve from like a cultural and intellectual standpoint its people, and you
Right.
kind of, I don't want to say darker. I mean, yeah, killing and violence is rough, absolutely, and it has its own consequences. But that's why I think there was like a little bit of like, oh, okay, I see the damage, but I've seen what you've done with it, and we're on the same page, so you're good.
Yeah. No, that was fun too. I think of everyone, I was like, I'm sure Mauricio and Brannigan will pass all the things. I think the rest of us is a little dicey, depending on how it goes. But no, it was awesome.
Yeah. That was fun. I pre-passed the test. I was like, I have this key though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The key loved you. Yeah, I mean,
cool with you. You're good. Let's go.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't very good at opening doors, but it's been a while since he had to try, and I
you
believed
rolled
in
the
him.
natural one. That's not.
I
my fault.
believed in him, and he turned it
Not my
around.
fault.
So the thing about keys, Nanners, is you don't have to roll to turn them; they just unlock shit.
But some keys and some locks are more sophisticated than others. And if
As
you
long
turn
as
the
it's
wrong
the
way,
right key, that's irrelevant.
Is that true?
That changes how hard it is to open without the right key.
It's like,
Oh my god.
you should know this. As an IT professional, you know that having the key doesn't always let you get in.
It's a physical key. Don't get at me about other things. You're changing the subject. It's a physical key turning physical tumblers.
Yes, which could be honeypotted and you turn it the wrong way. If you're talking high security,
Joe's tired of your bullshit.
I don't think I've ever seen line eyes from Joe. I like this. I need screenshots.
Sustained line eyes.
Anyway, I don't want to eat up you guys' night, but I think we've covered most things. Unless like we'll give it a once aroundy. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you definitely passed the vibe check. You were.
If it happened towards the end, what do you think?
Not so much. But you hadn't taken those steps towards darkness until the end, so.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah, I think, and we're all pretty much almost out of time anyway. But this was fun. I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna hopefully drag every single one of you into another campaign of something of some point. Once Legacy. Again.
I was just gonna say the comment that Anita just made had me picture Joe playing laser tag with a bunch of demons except it's hammers instead of laser.
And not Brannigan, but Joe.
Joe's there.
It's just me with like an actual for nails hammer.
Oh my god. I got
would
this
die very
Home
quickly.
Depot hammer. We'll be fine.
Oh god, let's go.
Oh no.
But yeah, I absolutely loved it. You guys were fantastic. I loved it every time. It was super fun, and love to get you all together again.
You are one of the GOAT DMs in my book.
Get out of here, man. I'm glad you had fun. Pathfinder. Let's go to the next one. Wild West. I'm thinking I gotta do a shit ton of reading.
I think we all got to do a shit ton of reading.
Everyone
For that.
does.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're giving everyone homework.
I'm giving everybody homework. I'm thinking of with that one doing a couple of like just test scenarios. Like we make your characters, throw them into a scenario. Like, all right, here's combat. Let's flesh it out. See how that characters like because it's a new system. So we'll do a couple of those just so you have an idea of how it flows before we actually get into it proper. But
New meaning to pay to play. Okay.
pay to play. No, I got all the books, man. Don't worry, I got you.
No, I mean we gotta pay it. We gotta pay something to play here, man. We gotta study up.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
You
was
got to
like,
study to play.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
yeah,
you should
yeah,
always
yeah.
have been doing that if you are ever confused about anything your character does.
Yep.
Is you should just know it. Now, that's a little unfair to me because I've been playing D&D 5e since it launched, so I have a lot of hours logged.
Joe, I
So
feel
I
like
know
you're
what my
slurring a
characters
whole
do.
lot. Are you
Let's have
tired?
I
Joe's
mean,
toast.
a little.
Okay. The last like two responses is
Joe
like
Tree.
ours. Yeah, Joe Tree.
That
Anyway.
one was an intentional slurring because I was a little abashed at my own words of y'all should be studying, because I was like, well, that's not fair of me to say, so let me put some contriteness in my voice. Sorry, for the rest of this, I will over enunciate so you understand that I am all right.
Hate it.
I like it.
So,
No,
Should I keep it going, but closer to the microphone?
excellent. That's an
Oh,
ASMR
yes.
Foos that
I
she
think
loves.
for the wrap up, we can have everyone say goodbye and say where you can be found, things like that. Anita, I'm just gonna drop your info in the chat, but feel free to let anyone know if there's anything else you want people to go find you and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll start with I guess we'll kind of go backwards and have Joe start us off.
Hey, Joe.
What am I doing?
You're
Saying
Say
where
bye.
people can find you and goodbye.
People
say
can
goodbye.
find me, anywhere that a conversation is too one-sided and someone feels ganged up on. I'll be there to balance the scales and defend the underdog. And anywhere that someone's putting sauce on top of the cheese with a ridiculous deep dish pizza, I'll be there to be contentious and say I'm just trying to think of things I've done in the past to get a whole thing going. No. You can find me here on Fridays and this Saturday specifically on Foozca channel, and on Sunday on Dispel Logic. And we have fun times, and come watch us. And that is me, and good night and good luck. All right, somebody else has to talk, and I have to pick them. Kit.
He's just the sign off.
Hello. Anyway, you can call me Kit. Had a wonderful time playing here. You can find me just here, I guess. I don't really got a presence on the internet besides chess.com. If you ever play on there, try and find me. Don't really know what else to say there.
We should come up with a command for that. If you're cool with it, there's like a profile page for you or something. We can make a little command for you, so it's just like Kit Chess, and then you get to paste a link or something. Yeah.
Oh, I like Nintendo. That'd be fun. Anyway,
Nintendo's
oh yeah,
good.
that's basically it for me. Papaya, por favor.
Hello, I am Maya, also known as Papaya. Sometimes they put them together, and I am a Maya who is also a papaya. It's crazy, I know. You gotta wrap your mind around it. I played the monk Mauricio, and I had a good time discovering that I will never play monk again in 5e. I don't hate the class, I just feel like it tries to do too much, but isn't good at any of it.
I think you should give it another shot one day, and you'll like it a lot.
No, get out of here. You're not cool enough for this club.
No.
Two different defenders of monk. One trying to convert the uninitiated, and one like, well, fine then. You're not even good enough.
Sorry. Basically, come on down. We'll help you. And the other one just throws a dodgeball directly in my face.
The other one is slamming the door in your face. You're on the doorway, just being like, I don't think I'll come back. Good. Fuck right off. Sorry, Carl.
That's sweet for you. Villain. Damn, I don't even know where I was going. Oh, you can find me all over this channel because this is where I live.
I'm in the club.
This is the only place you find me, really. So then that means you find me on Fridays when Legacy happens, and then on Saturdays when Difficult Terrain happens, and then on Sunday when Power Rangers happens. And I'm sort of there, but also not, because I don't succeed on any dice rolls. So it's like I'm there.
Nobody does.
But only in spirit, you know?
Yeah.
If you need something to happen, don't look my way. Other than that, as I mentioned earlier, I'm working on a sci fantasy project due for a name change that was tagged the second time in the chat. And I look forward to giving more details on that as the latest slate of changes I'm working on is complete, and I can finally, shift gears and actually get some playtests in. and just have fun on this channel and get back in the GMC because it's been a minute.
Get your booty in that chair, girl.
Drive that bus.
And with that, I'm gonna pass it over to the person who just abused me. Who's take it away?
You don't have to say it like that.
There's a reason it rhymes.
Was it not true?
Abuse and foos. Oh no, abuse and foos. All right, there we go. Got it.
You gotta
Hello. Hello, foos. Yeah, I'm pretty much here most of the time. We'll see about the Western thing, because Foos doesn't like Westerns, so she might produce
You're gonna love it. Don't you duck
a
at it, man.
cheerleader, because
It's
she's
gonna be
not
so
about
good.
that. It
gonna be
looks
so
cool,
good.
but it looks cool for me to just watch. We'll see.
Oh, it's gonna be
But
so good.
I think I would have to no matter what, because I've literally dragged Nenners to every single project I've done on and off this channel. So I think at the very least I owe Nenners at least one. So there's one that I'll do, no problem. But anyway, yeah, I'm pretty much here most of the time. Either being a player for Nenners in Legacy, where he tells me half my things don't work in this situation, everyone's gonna die, and it's a very good time. Thumbs up. But yeah, we'll be back with that on Friday, and I'm very excited. And we have a few more projects on the horizon, and Power Rangers. Its third and final episode will not be this Sunday, but the Sunday after that. We've had a lot of like schedule craziness, but thankfully everyone's like happy and healthy, and that's all we care about. So it was initially going to be 4 episodes, but we're gonna make do with the 3. So please join us for the third and final episode on the 10th of September, because it's September. We're in the last 4 months of the years, folks. It's crazy. With that, I will hand it off to Dennis to say goodbye, because we're gonna go read after this.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it, especially sticking with it, because it definitely, obviously, overran quite a bit. So thank you all, and again for being such awesome players and investigating stuff and being quirky and all the kind of fun stuff that comes with that. It was a pleasure. Never regret. My only regret was that it was obviously limited time-wise due to being on the weekdays. But other than that, it was super, super fun. So I look forward to doing something similar at some point in the future. Probably not for a while, so Foos doesn't yell at me. But
if you do, I'm gonna be like looking over your shoulder while you're planning it and being like, "How long is it? How long do you think that's gonna be, Dennis? Could you dial it back just a little bit?"
I'm gonna give you a number and just multiply it by 3, and I think we'll be good.
We're like, fantastic. Cut out 45% of this. No, I'm very excited. Yeah, we have a bunch of things coming up, and it's awesome, and we're exploring many things, so it's cool. We're gonna go raid So Maddie Games. I don't think I've ever seen them streaming, but they got a cool looking background, and they're playing Dragonlance. So,
shit, Dragonlance, all right.
Thank you, audience, for supporting us and stuff.
Yeah.
It's always, you guys help make this even more magical than it would be normally. I mean,
I don't know, you're all right.
And also, thank you to Nenners who keeps creating the cool shit that.
Yes, thank you, Nenners, for realsies.
Oh yeah, it's
For
fun.
realsies.
go.
But yeah, we're gonna go. Oh, it's countdown now time. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, here we go. Bye. Join us in the raid time. I didn't realize we've never waited that long for it to like get to the countdown. So.